My name is Eric, and the last time my best friend called me, I blocked him. Not because he did something terrible. Not because he betrayed me. Just because I was tired, and angry, and too proud to back down. His name was Daniel. We had known each other for almost 15 years. We met in high school, both of us sitting alone at the same lunch table because we didn't fit anywhere else. He was the quiet, funny one. I was the loud, careless one. Somehow it worked. We grew up together. Same college. Same cheap apartment after graduation. Same late-night pizzas when we had no money. He was the kind of friend who showed up without being asked. When my car broke down, he drove across town at midnight. When I lost my job at 23, he paid half my rent for 2 months and never mentioned it again. If someone had asked me back then, I would have said Daniel was the closest thing I had to family. But life changes people in small, quiet ways. He stayed in our hometown working at a repair shop. I moved to Chicago and got a corporate job. At first we talked every day. Then every few days. Then just on weekends. After a while, even that started to feel like a chore. Daniel had a habit of calling late at night. Sometimes he just wanted to talk. Sometimes he had problems. Money issues. Work drama. His dad's health. It was always something. And every time my phone lit up with his name, I felt a small knot of irritation in my chest. One night, about a year ago, he called me 3 times in a row. I was exhausted. My boss had yelled at me all day. I had a headache. I just wanted silence. So when the phone rang the 4th time, I picked up. "What?" I snapped. There was a pause on the other end. Then Daniel's voice, soft and careful. "Hey, sorry. I just needed to talk." "About what now?" I said. "There's always something with you." Another pause. Longer this time. "I just thought you were my friend," he said quietly. Something in his tone irritated me even more. It felt like guilt. Like pressure. "You know what, Daniel?" I said. "I'm tired of being your emotional support hotline. I have my own life." The silence that followed was heavy. "Yeah," he said after a moment. "I guess you do." Then he hung up. 10 seconds later he called again. I stared at the screen. His name. His photo. That same stupid smile he always made in pictures. My thumb hovered over the screen. And then, without thinking too hard about it, I pressed block contact. Just like that, 15 years of friendship disappeared behind a gray button. I told myself it was temporary. Just for a few days. He'd calm down. I'd calm down. We'd talk later. I put my phone on the nightstand, turned off the lights, and went to sleep. At 2:14 a.m., my phone lit up with a call from an unknown number. I ignored it. At 2:17 a.m., it rang again. I ignored that one too. By morning, everything was different. I woke up at 7:30 the next morning to the sound of my alarm and the dull gray light of a Chicago winter morning. For a few seconds, everything felt normal. Just another workday. Just another cup of coffee. Just another set of emails waiting for me. Then I saw the missed calls. 2 from the same unknown number. Both around 2 a.m. I frowned. Telemarketers didn't call at that hour. For a moment, I wondered if it had been Daniel calling from someone else's phone. But the thought irritated me more than it worried me. If he wanted to talk, he shouldn't have pushed me like that, I told myself. I dragged myself out of bed, made some coffee, and got ready for work. The calls slipped to the back of my mind, buried under deadlines and meetings. Around 9:15 a.m., as I was walking into the office lobby, my phone rang again. Same unknown number. I almost ignored it. But something about the persistence made me answer. "Hello. Is this Eric Thompson?" a man's voice asked. "Come. Professional." "Yeah. Who's this?" "My name is Officer Ramirez. I'm calling from the Oakwood Police Department. Do you know a Daniel Carter?" My chest tightened just a little. "Yeah," I said. "He's a friend." There was a pause. Not long. Just long enough for my stomach to drop. "Sir," the officer continued, "Daniel was involved in a serious car accident last night around 2:10 a.m. His phone records show multiple attempts to contact you before the crash. You were listed as his emergency contact. For a moment, I didn't understand the words. They felt like a foreign language. Is he okay? I asked. Another pause. He's in critical condition. He was conscious for a short time at the scene. He kept asking if we'd reached you. My throat went dry. I didn't get the calls, I said automatically. It was a lie and we both knew it. We tried several times, the officer said. He's at St. Mary's Hospital. You may want to come as soon as possible. The call ended, but I kept the phone pressed to my ear. The lobby around me felt suddenly louder. People talking. Shoes tapping on marble floors. The smell of coffee from the cafe in the corner. Everything felt too sharp, too real. 2:14 a.m. 2:17 a.m. The times from the missed calls flashed in my head. I opened my contact list and stared at Daniel's name. Still blocked. My hands started to shake as I pressed the screen and removed the block. The chat window opened. Empty. Cold. Silent. At the bottom, a message appeared. Last call, yesterday 2:03 a.m. I felt something heavy drop inside my chest. The last time he ever tried to reach me. And I had pressed a gray button. I didn't even tell my boss I was leaving. I just turned around, walked out of the building, and headed straight for the parking garage. The entire drive to the hospital, one thought kept repeating in my mind like a broken record. What if that last call wasn't just a call? What if it was goodbye? The hospital parking lot was almost full when I arrived. Snow from the night before had turned into dirty gray slush along the sidewalks. I parked crooked, didn't even bother fixing it, and rushed inside. Hospitals always feel the same, too bright, too quiet, and somehow too loud at the same time. The smell of disinfectant hung in the air. A television in the waiting area played a morning talk show, but nobody was really watching it. I walked up to the front desk. "I'm here for Daniel Carter," I said. My voice sounded strange, like it belonged to someone else. The nurse typed something into her computer. "Family?" she asked. I hesitated. "Friend." She gave me a small, polite smile. The kind people use when they don't know what else to give you. "He's in surgery right now. You can wait over there." I sat down in one of the plastic chairs. It was cold and hard. I kept my phone in my hand, staring at it like it might suddenly change the past. I opened our old messages. Memes. Late-night jokes. Random photos of food. Voice notes about nothing important. Then I scrolled to the last real conversation we had before the argument. "Daniel, hey man. Dad's test didn't go well. Doctor says it might be serious. Me, that sucks. I'm in a meeting. Talk later?" Daniel, "Yeah, sure." That was 2 weeks before the night I blocked him. I kept scrolling and then I saw something I hadn't noticed before. A voicemail icon. Timestamp, 2:05 a.m. My heart started pounding. He must have left it right after I blocked him. Maybe before the system updated. Maybe it slipped through. My fingers trembled as I pressed play. For a second there was only static and wind. Then Daniel's voice. "Hey Eric, it's me. I know you're mad. I didn't know who else to call." He sounded different. Not sad. Not dramatic. Just tired. "I'm at the gas station on Route 9. My car's acting weird. Keeps making this grinding sound. I think something's wrong with the brakes." A long pause. I could hear a car passing in the background. "I was heading to the hospital. Dad collapsed about an hour ago. They said it might be his heart." Another pause. This one heavier. "I know we argued, but I just didn't want to be alone tonight. Call me back if you can. I'll wait here for a bit before I drive again." The message ended with the soft beep of the voicemail system. That was it. No drama. No goodbye speech. Just a friend asking for another friend. I sat there in the plastic chair, the phone still pressed to my ear. The world around me blurred. The sounds of the hospital faded into a dull hum. If I had just answered. If I had just listened for 30 seconds. If I hadn't been so proud. A doctor in blue scrubs walked into the waiting area and looked around. "Is someone here for Daniel Carter?" he asked. I stood up so fast the chair scraped loudly across the floor. "That's me." The doctor's face was calm, but his eyes looked tired. "We did everything we could," he said. "But the internal injuries were too severe." For a moment the words didn't make sense. Then they did. And the silence that followed felt louder than any scream. I don't remember much from the next few hours. Just pieces. Signing a form. A nurse offering me water. The sound of a vending machine humming in the corner. At some point I ended up sitting alone in the waiting room again. The same plastic chair. The same flickering TV. But everything felt different now, like the air itself had become heavier. My phone buzzed in my hand. It was a message from an unknown number. "This is Daniel's dad's phone. The hospital staff told me to contact you. He said you were his closest friend." My chest tightened. A few seconds later, another message appeared. "He talked about you a lot." I stared at the screen, not knowing what to say. My thumbs hovered over the keyboard, but no words felt right. What do you say to the father of someone you just lost, when you know you were the last person he tried to reach? I finally typed, "I'm so sorry. I should have been there." 3 dots appeared. Then disappeared. Then appeared again. Finally the reply came. "He wasn't alone. He kept saying your name. He said you'd call back." My vision blurred. I didn't even realize I was crying until a tear hit the phone screen. He thought I'd call back. Even after the argument. Even after my harsh words. Even after I blocked him. He still believed I would show up. That was the worst part. Not the accident. Not the hospital. Not even the funeral a few days later. It was the faith he had in me, right up to the end. At the funeral, people talked about how kind Daniel was. How he helped everyone. How he never asked for anything in return. I stood near the back, hands in my pockets, feeling like an imposter in a place meant for people who deserved to be there. When it was my turn to step closer to the casket, I almost didn't move. My legs felt heavy, like they were stuck in concrete. But I forced myself forward. He looked peaceful. Like he was just sleeping. Like he might open his eyes any second and laugh at the whole thing. "Dude, you should have seen your face," he'd say. But he didn't move. I wanted to say something. Some final apology. Some deep, meaningful speech. But the only words that came out were a whisper. "I'm sorry I didn't answer." After the funeral, I went back to my apartment in Chicago. Everything looked the same. Same couch. Same kitchen. Same view from the window. But the silence felt different. That night my phone buzzed again. Just a random notification. Nothing important. Still my heart jumped. And for the first time in years I realized something simple and terrifying. Sometimes, the most important call in your life only rings once. And sometimes you're too proud, too tired, or too angry to answer it. My name is Eric. And if my phone rings at 2 a.m. now, I always pick up.